Also be great.
Let's do that. Avoid some awkward.
Horsemen up on the corners.
I'm here because our democracy is currently in crisis, and is the duty of citizens and people to restore a just, equitable, and sustainable world for the future. Right now I don't see a mechanism that's open for me to do that, so this movement is my best chance to outreach and engage with those in power, to use it for good, and to find my own, and to empower others to find their own in this movement, because we need a democracy at this point in history more than anything.
So I'm here because I want to be able to live in this country and not have to immigrate to Canada in order to pursue the American dream. I want to be able to afford to have kids and be allowed to get married in this state. And I know that being in politics can cause, I mean, just from my own experience working with politics, that you can very often find yourself picking these small battles and then look up, and although you've won all the small battles, you are miles away from where you wanted to be when you first got into politics. And so I'm hoping that we can offer an avenue here to save our representatives from the system that they are trapped in, and that we can start with the governor and work our way down.
It'll do. The occupation has reached a point where it must begin engaging our state, local, and national leaders to actually try to find solutions to the problems that the occupation has been drawing attention to. And I think this is a good first step in that direction.
Michelle Blanchette. I am occupying because I went to public school, and in public school they told me a lot about democracy, and I thought it was a pretty interesting, good thing, and as a child I loved it. I loved politics, I loved all of it, and then at some point I woke up and I realized that I would love to know what democracy really is, and so I'm hoping that we can get back there again, because I don't think I've seen it yet.
I'm Molly. I'm here because I believe that the amount of wealth disparity in this country is unacceptable. I see people reaching a level of suffering that is completely inexcusable, while other people have a lot of luxuries and wealth, and I feel like it's my responsibility as a person who occupies a comfortable place in society to keep pushing so that everybody can have the same comforts. And there are too many things wrong with the way the world is for me to feel good about having kids and giving them a world that I don't think is good enough for them and good enough for all the kids that are born all around the world. I feel like we owe them something better, and I want to have a part in making that.
Oh, I love it.
Do you want to describe what we're seeing here, Colin?
Here?
Yeah.
This is a tent fit for a governor. So.
Looks like a luxurious and spacious abode.
Well, it's cold out, and so we want to compensate by the cold temperature by having a little bit of cush. I mean, this is what I would want if I could get away with it.
From what I know of speaking to people individually, no one tends to really camp here or spend any time inside the tent. And we explicitly have a deadline at which we would be here, which would last a day. So there would be no real camping inside the tent. We're having the symbolic olive branch. If she decides not to take that, then we will go home.
I would like to make it clear that this isn't here to make you guys angry or to seem like we're like you pushed us here and we're trying to push back. This is because you guys have talked to us and you have come down and talked to us, and she hasn't, and thought maybe being in her front lawn perhaps she would start paying attention.
Were you aware that her chief of staff actually came out on Wednesday of last week?
Yeah. So one thing I was going to say is any action taken by the state, for instance, if you guys choose to take down the tent, I'm going to view as something that is under her call, that she has determined that for you guys.
Yeah, I mean that's the view that's going to come out of this.
I'm getting the impression that we're allowed to have democracy and a protest on a local level, but as soon as it escalates to the states, then that's something we're barred from. If it's going to escalate to a national level, then that's something we're going to be barred from. And that's not the narrative I'm told every day by the media and by law enforcement and politicians. One night.
Just one night, no camping.
We'll wait for her.
We'll wait.
This is an attempt to escape a situation that's intolerable.
I appreciate the dialogue, and we can sit and talk all afternoon if you'd like. But we're not going to leave the tent up, and I'm not budging on that.
But I believe that you are eliminating an opportunity for Chris Gregoire to
I
break a
understand,
deadlock in removing
but she's
the
not going to come down here. She is busy. I did make that phone call for you. She is busy. She's not going to come down here. The tent has to go. I would like you guys to take the tent. One, because it's a workable tent. Somebody would probably use it. If we take it, it's just going to get thrown into the system, and we don't want to do that to you. I also don't want to break anything inside there, and like I said, and I mean it, the flowers are pretty. And I do like the way they smell, but I also don't want to take somebody's air mattress. So I'm going to ask right now, somebody please go deflate the air mattress and remove the things that you want, including the tent would be nice, but remove what you want. Otherwise, we're going to take it, and it won't be seen again. And that's not fair. Somebody paid for it, it costs money. You guys obviously spend a lot of time. I'm digging the sign. I don't want to ruin that stuff.
So can this be taken as a decline from the governor on our invitation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is her schedule free later?
It doesn't mean she's not sensitive to what your needs are. She's
no, it
just
doesn't
declining
mean that.
coming down.
It definitely means that. Exactly.
I have not lost hope. I have not lost
Good. That's awesome. And you know what? And we haven't either. But understand that in the big grand scheme of things, we're not the rule makers, but we do follow up on what rules there are. Mr. Aiken knows the rules. He expressed them to you. And now the guys in the funny hats are going to have to ask you to please take the tent down.
Don't forget the bow tie.
I really like your bow tie.
We find ourselves at a remarkable moment in history. Today, in late November 2011, American law enforcement personnel openly brutalized peaceful demonstrators in American streets in numerous cities across the nation. Something that would have been inconceivable only 2 short months ago. So far, Washington has escaped most of this violence, perhaps due to your restraint as Chief Executive, Chris Gregoire. But it is clear that as America becomes ever more inured to naked displays of state violence, Washington will face escalating pressure to conform to an increasingly brutal national standard. If Americans and their public servants are to avoid a disastrous collision, we must find a way to step outside the roles to which we are currently consigned. History will remember what we did in this moment, as it invariably does in moments of national crisis. The occupation is populated by brave, patriotic citizens who feel they have been called to defend this nation, this planet, and its people. And today, on behalf of history, we are calling you. We invite you to step outside the expectations that currently confine you. We ask you to reflect on the aspirations that led you first to public service, and to compare them to the reality of government as you now know it. Surely you see the glaring fact of a democracy turned somehow against its population. And as you regard this strange distortion of America, you must also know in your heart that we are not wrong about the jeopardy faced at once by the Union and the state. We ask that you join us on the Capitol lawn, that you occupy with us, that you establish by your presence that you understand our concern as people and as citizens, and that you share our desire to see a peaceful transition to a just, safe, sustainable society we can be proud to deliver to our descendants. For 2 months, the outward face of occupation has been tense, inhabited by intrepid people in pursuit of a better world. As the occupation movement transitions from encampment to engagement, we invite you to break bread with us, and then to spend tonight tenting on the Capitol lawn in solidarity. We have erected and outfitted a tent here in your name. All you would need to do is free yourself from your invisible barricades and join us on the right side of history. Yours, in good faith, Occupy Washington.